Okay, good morning everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining this presentation. My name is Rafi Nur Alaudin. Throughout the course of this presentation, I will be discussing about the short tutorial about how to build a simple PC for light work. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so building a computer or PC is typically only done by computer technicians or people with a background in computer engineering. However, build a computer is a simple process that anyone can do as long as they know how to build a PC. One of the advantages of being able to assemble a computer is that you can get your dream computer or PC by installing it yourself. So you can assemble your dream computer directly at home and without any installation fees. So before you building a PC, prepare the following component. Number 1, processor. Number 2, heatsink plus thermal paste. Number 3, RAM memory. Number 4, PC case. Number 5, motherboard. Number 6, VGA card. Number 7, power supply. Number 8, motherboard cables. And number 9, hardware optical device drive such as DVD drive and hard disk drive. And also solid state drive. And okay, and this is the following steps of how to build a PC. So to assemble a computer or PC, usually it can only be done. I'm sorry. Okay. So let's go directly to the tutorial. So number one, install the motherboard jumpers. The first simple step in assembling a computer or PC is to read the motherboard's manual guidebook to understand where the jumpers will be placed. Jumpers are small components placed on the motherboard to control the CPU and voltage entering the motherboard. You need to know that incorrect jumper setting can result in processor damage. So be careful when installing jumpers and ensure they are placed correctly. So number 2, installing the processor. Installing the processor. Okay. So installing the processor on the motherboard will be easier if the motherboard is not yet installed in the casing. Things to consider when installing the processor include determining the position of one pin that place in the corner. So as you can see, they place in the corner. So you have to fit it right to place the processor. So usually, yeah, there are markings. Okay, as you can see, and insert the processor according to the pin orientation, and leave the locking lever in an upright and open position. Then install the processor on the processor socket on the motherboard. Once the processor is installed on the motherboard, return the locking lever downwards to secure the processor. Don't forget to apply thermal paste on top of it before attaching the heatsink fan. And then number 3, installing the heatsink or processor fan. You need to know that the processor generates heat when the computer is running, so a fan is needed to dissipate the heat. The next step is assembling the CPU is to install the heatsink, which is the fan placed on top of the processor. Installation is quite simple. You just need to insert its leg into the motherboard and tighten it. Additionally, the heatsink is equipped with a connector that is connected to the motherboard for power. Number 4, installing RAM memory. So usually the memory used in a CPU or PC is RAM. It can be DDR4 and DDR3 or DDR4, and now the newest generation is DDR5. So you need to make sure that the memory socket on the motherboard is compatible with this type. Installing memory is also straightforward. You just need to align the notches on the memory with the slots on the motherboard. Number 5, installing the motherboard in the casing. The next simple step is assembling the CPU, assembling a motherboard. Assembling a computer is to install the motherboard in the casing. This is done by determining the mounting position of the motherboard in the casing. Once the mounting is in place, you will need to select a screwdriver to tighten the screws. Pay attention to the correct position of the input-output ports and be careful and gentle when installing to prevent damage to the motherboard. Number 6, installing the VGA card. After the motherboard is installed, you can install the VGA card. Installing the VGA card is similar to installing memory, aligning the notches of the card with the slot on the motherboard. You can refer to the main board manual instruction table to see the placement of the VGA card on the motherboard. Number 7, installing the power supply. The power supply is located in the top corner at the back of the casing. Installing is straightforward. You just need to place it in the designated power supply base and tighten the screws with a screwdriver. Make sure it's securely fixed and in the correct position, not upside down. Number 8, connecting motherboard cables. You can connect all the available cables from the power supply to the motherboard to provide power. You can follow the instruction manual in the book and leave cables for the HDD and OTD. Number 9, installing ODD, optical device drive such as DVD and hard disk drive. If the power supply cables are connected to the motherboard, you can install the hard drive in the casing and adjust each hard drive according to the drive slots in the casing base. DVDs are usually placed in the front upper part of the casing, while HDDs have their own dedicated base. You can open the drive base covers on the casing and then install tighten the screws. Once hard drive is securely installed, connect the cables from the power supply to each hard drive. For the DVD, recently it's barely used by people. So you can leave this DVD and buy a external DVD. And number 10, finishing or settlement. Have you installed all the cables, connected the connectors, and placed the motherboard in the casing? The next step is assembling the CPU assembling the PCs to perform finishing touches and check the functionality of the assembled components as a PC. You can perform the following checks. Close the casing securely using a screwdriver. Number 2, connect the VGA port cable to the monitor and plug in the monitor's power cable. Okay, third, next, connect the CPU power cable to the electrical socket or switch and turn it on. And then number 11, I forgot to add the slide for PC testing. So for the PC testing, you can turn on the PC and monitor. If there are no issues, the PC will enter the pause mode and you can proceed to adjust the BIOS settings. Common problems that may occur include incorrect cable connections or incompatible component installations. Usually, if there is an error, it will be detected immediately and the PC will emit a beep sound in a regular pattern. You can double check the cable connections and verify the positions of the components. If the installation unit is functioning properly, you can proceed with BIOS setting and install the operating system. Don't forget to prepare the installation CD for the necessary applications and drivers for the components. Okay, so I think that's all I can explain and uh, give a tutorial about how to build PC. Thank you for listening to my tutorial. I apologize if there's any mistakes from this tutorial. You must see the instruction if you're a newbie for this. Or you can call someone from the computer shop if they are provide a PC building service. Thank you and see you in the next video.